Over this weekend, Chris Rock put out his stand-up.
What was that joint called?
It was called
Like Damage
Selective Outrage.
Oh, I thought it was just called Outrage. Selective Outrage.
It was called Selective Outrage, and it was live streamed on Netflix, which I thought was cool. I had my thoughts about it, but on the surface, I thought it was cool. I watched Terrance. I think you just kind of watched some clips from it, but I watched it live. Like, waited. They had like a little pre-show with Leslie Jones and some other comedians. But once it got to like 8:59, they were like, "All right, here we go, Chris Rock," and then it came on. It was dope. But
I didn't watch it because I did not want to. I just didn't care to. I've seen some clips of Chris Rock on his tour, and I'm like, damn, like, I'm not gonna say I didn't want to watch it, but I didn't watch the live stream because I was like, I don't know, something about me told me I didn't want to watch old Chris Rock, and Terrell was kind of frowning on me when I said that, but I said I just felt like he was just gonna be up there and it's gonna be like watching my dad do a stand up. Love my dad to death. But if it's not my dad, I'm like, all right, I don't really care to see a 50-year-old nigga get up there talking about how the youngins are. And I didn't know. This was me being kind of like, I was just kind of being, yeah. But look, once I saw the reviews for it, I said, damn, well, you know what? I wasn't too far off. I was kind of.
Nah, you still need to watch it for yourself.
I saw the highlights of it, I'll say that. The Will Smith shit.
Because that's cool, but when Dave Chappelle, who's also 50-plus, drop, y'all gonna watch.
Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, right now, to me, are in two different leagues. That we could agree to disagree, though. I give Chris Rock the legacy piece. But Dave Chappelle, he doing this shit as a 50-year-old. Like, he's almost funnier now than he was.
He is. I'm a Chris Rock guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I will never argue with somebody who picks Dave. But everybody was looking forward to the stand-up because it was on the heels of which is the on Sunday, the Oscars. The Oscar slap.
The Oscars. This nigga sound like Christopher Walken. On the heels of the Oscars.
It was on the heels of the Oscar slap. And, everybody wanted to hear what he was going to say in regards to the Will Smith thing. And so, first, I'll just say that as a Chris Rock fan, this was one of his weaker stand-ups, for sure. I thought it was funny, but it was definitely weak. You definitely wouldn't like it. From the beginning. I mean, I think he finished strong.
He said, I wouldn't like it, but I need to watch it for myself.
The second, because it's like it has there's good jokes in it. It's just some jokes are like, all right, Chris, you better than this. Like
yeah. That's kind of what I figured.
Yeah. And since it was live on
Netflix,
it wasn't edited. It literally felt like it was no edits.
It was like a live show for real.
It was like a live show.
Yeah, they said he had a couple small mess ups.
Yeah, he had some fucked up. He was like, hold up, I fucked up the joke. And he kind of went back. But
the stand-up get to the shits, Terrell.
I'm going to say what I think about the stand-up. I don't give a fuck if you didn't watch it. I watched it. As a Chris Rock fan.
It's like we get that you are a fan and you watch the stand-up,
Of Kill the Messenger and Bring the Pain and the classics, even after Tambourine, I thought it was all right. I guess what everybody wants to talk about is the fact that he addressed the Will Smith slap, which I thought that was dope. He smoked that part. That part was very funny. So far as the special as a whole, it was all right.
What do you think about, because my thing is I don't really have any, I guess you watched it, so you got
that's on you. That's Chris Rock, one of my favorites.
Chill. I mean, I'm not trying to comfort you. I'm just saying, like I said, I thought the special was mid. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it was nothing that anybody needed to run to.
Terrance, you didn't see it.
Like I said, I saw clips from it, but you just told me that I wasn't gonna like it if I watched it. You just told me there were jokes where you said that it wasn't good, so me saying that it's mid. You agree that it is mid.
Like you can't say that because you didn't see it.
Okay, well, I have heard. We watched this documentary. That's going to be on Movie Suggestion of the Week, this documentary we watched. But I swear, in the whole documentary, they kept saying, well, someone said that. I'm like, who in this documentary got facts?
You like shit, boy. You doing the same thing.
Anyway, all I'm going to say is that I felt like it was mid, and then most of the response seemed like it was that, as far as
And
that.
it was.
I think the parts with Will Smith with Chris Rock, though, that kind of sparked a conversation about if you thought Chris Rock was a bitch or not.
Do I think Chris Rock is a bitch?
Yeah. Do you think Chris Rock is a bitch, or do you think Will Smith is a bitch for smacking Chris Rock? These are two goats, too, and we talking about them like they just, Is Chris Rock a bitch or is Will Smith a bitch?
I think. What do you think? Let's say what you think.
I think who looks more bitch made in the situation? Who looks more like a bitch in the situation? Would you say? Is it the guy who smacked this dude because he talked about his wife, or is it the guy who got smacked
We have
and didn't?
Yeah. One of our most controversial podcasts was, and then War Goes Too. No, is that what it's called? No, Idols Become Rivals. Forgive me. Where we talked about the Will Smith slap because we both were on Will Smith's side.
At one point, we was kind of opposed at a certain point.
It was like it was wrong, but you definitely took a big. It's a man thing. He's a man. He's passionate. But I don't think Chris Rock is a bitch.
Yeah, all right, but let's not just say let's not call anybody out their name. Fuck that. We're not even gonna do that. What I will say, I think Chris Rock got up there and completely like validated why Will Smith should have smacked him. I felt completely validated in how I felt about Will Smith in the situation after it happened. Once I seen what Chris Rock was saying on stage.
And why is that?
Because I just feel like
was it something Chris Rock said? Was it the fact that he doubled down?
Yeah, like yo, hold up. This me. If I talk about your girl and you smack me, right? Mm-hmm. I have a problem with what you did. Right? But I understand that you felt it was disrespectful. You know, like if
keep going, I'm gonna turn the screen.
I'm not trying to disrespect anybody's. Imagine talking about somebody's girl or they somebody in their family and somebody really get upset about that. Even as a comedian, I feel like, yo, my bad, yo. You know, I don't know what's going on with y'all, but I'm not trying to add to y'all, you know what I'm saying, to y'all fire or whatever. But I get Will Smith went out there and smacked him. You got tagged for it.
He smacked who he could smack.
I don't believe that.
I believe that.
I don't believe that. I think you got up there, and this is why I said I feel like Chris Rock. You take the L in the situation, cause don't get up there and try to say.
They saying it was funny.
He smacked me because he knew he could beat me.
He did.
And then you up there trying to call him a bitch.
That's some. You smacked. He said, but Chris Rock's
I don't think Will Smith smacked you because he knew he could beat you. I think he smacked you because you said dumb shit out of your mouth. And you thought that you was going to get away with it because you was in front of white folks.
Terrance,
and he went up there and tagged your ass and you were surprised.
Like Chris Rock said, everybody called him a bitch. Drink Champs called him a bitch. This person called him a bitch. And who does he hit? Me. The nigga he can beat. That is honestly, this is Chris Rock's way of getting back at Will. This is my thing, Terrance. I get it why Will Smith slapped you. But the fact that Chris Rock handled it the way he handled it, I don't think he's wrong in handling it this way. I would have did the same thing if I couldn't slap you back.
You could have smacked him back. You just chose not to.
But it wouldn't have been right for him to just start fighting on stage. That would make Chris Rock wrong.
Yo, and this is what I was going to tell y'all. If a nigga come up to you right where you are, like say you in the gas station, a nigga come up to you and smack the shit out of you, it just literally just walks off, right?
The gas station is not the Oscars.
And that's why I'm saying, for real, it ain't even really about the location. It's not about the fact that they was at the Oscars.
Let's say
because I'm not really talking about what happened. I'm talking about the aftermath. It don't matter where you are. If a nigga smack you and you don't do anything, right? We not saying that, wow, you should have smacked him. You should have fought him right where you was. I get it. It's situational. You can't go forward calling him a bitch. Though. Because
you can. If somebody
you didn't do shit.
Okay, that's like if you standing outside, right? A nigga's
you
like
this. You can't go on a tour calling me a bitch and I smacked you now, and you didn't do shit?
Yes, you can. You know why? Because it's not like you said, it's not like I said, fight me, you pussy, and you said, man, you tripping, then I slap you. It's like if a nigga stood outside or a nigga caught you in the hallway at school, and look, you're not looking, he snuffed the shit out of you on some, I'ma sneak the nigga shit. You ever seen niggas do that? All right, man, whatever. And then they sneak him on some pussy shit. If he call you a bitch after that, he can. Because you just like snuck me. You didn't even give me a chance to fight. I didn't know you was coming up on the Oscar stage to smack me.
I'm thinking about like my childhood, right? Like, I get what you're saying, but think about this situation. So let's say something happened to your mother, right? Let's say your mother's sick. You remember we was young? Mm-hmm. Yada, yada, we going back and forth, your mother. But this person's mother's sick, right?
Yeah.
So he smacked the fuck out of you. right? Let's say he beat your ass. He gets suspended, right? Whole time he's suspended, right? You going around calling him a bitch. And you going around saying all of this.
He snuck me.
He snuck me. He's a bitch. Everybody knew he's a bitch for that. Everybody knows that's a bitch-ass move.
I didn't know his mom was sick.
You know, you look like the bitch.
That's not true, Terrance. I don't agree.
If it's me, I'm going to get smacked, and I'm going to say, you know what?
Nah, Terrance, you know what?
You know what? I'm not going on tour talking about how another nigga smacked me, and he knew he could beat me. Nah.
But this is how
No
I
way, not
win.
me.
Now, this is what I'll say, too. Let's take your same example about how a nigga slapped you in school, right? Because his mother sick, whatever.
Yeah.
Imagine if the principal come to you and say, do you want us to suspend this nigga? Do you want us to send him home for the day? And you know what you say? Nah, no, don't suspend him.
Nah,
don't send him home.
Yeah, it was whatever.
It's cool.
And I thought that was
stand.
I thought that was stand up of Chris Rock at first. That he didn't press charges. Will Smith wanted to offer an apology and sit and talk to him. He said, nah, I'm good. But then you gonna go on tour talking about how I'm a bitch, and then you doubling down and saying the shit that got you smacked, and you talking about my son now. Okay, bet. You are a bitch. And I'm glad I smacked the shit out of you when I was on stage, because look at what you end up doing. True colors being shown to me. Don't act like you got respect for me. I don't give a fuck if you didn't press charges. You should have pressed the charges if that's gonna be the case. You know what I'm saying?
Terrance,
am I tripping?
Yes, because if you go back and look at the fact that this nigga smacked you in the face.
I get it's nothing he could do at the Oscars.
Now, right. But think about how it would piss you off that this nigga ends up winning, right? He goes up there and talks about the disrespect, which you can't take away the fact that you disrespected this man. But he goes up there, talks about the disrespect. He won. Then he's at the after party. Yo, 1-2 when we coming with me. I would be pissed off. I would be so hot. I would have started writing that night. So that's why I'm like,
I would have started writing jokes that night.
Because that's what I do. Terrance, if a nigga slap you and there's nothing you can do, you're gonna bring heat to the pod.
No, I'm not.
That's what you do. You honestly, but Terrance, this is my thing. Chris Rock
You're gonna look worse.
But could Chris Rock have done a stand-up and not address this? I don't think he could have.
I'm not saying that he couldn't have.
And Dave Chappelle would 100% have addressed it too if it was him.
I just felt like the way Chris Rock addressed it, I didn't think he was gonna address it like that. I thought Chris Rock was gonna address it from the standpoint of just being like, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't even know what's going on with him. Almost like
he did.
It's almost like if you got like attacked by a dog or some shit. It wasn't like this personal thing. It's like a randomized thing. I was caught in the blind. You know what I'm saying? Blind side.
Nah, Terrance, that's random. It was personal.
This was 100% personal, and then to me, I just felt like Chris Rock's response. I'm like, damn, you look personally like affected by this.
Yeah,
and like low key, I haven't gotten past the fact that you said that shit about his wife. I thought that shit wasn't cool. And I don't like people kicking people while they down. You know that everybody joking on this man. They even came out before and talked about how there was inappropriate jokes told at the different award shows. It was out there. You saw the opportunity to tell a joke with me, and that's what I don't like what people do. You know I'm sensitive on something, but you want so bad to make everybody in here laugh. You will make me the butt of the joke, knowing how I might feel about it, because you want them to laugh. Like, that's why everybody didn't like what Chris Rock said at the end of his stand-up, where he said, you don't fight in front of white people. It's like, that was your real issue with the whole thing. That's why you real mad, because he smacked the fuck out of you because you thought you was going to make a joke out of me for these white people. There's no offense to nobody or whatever, anything like that. But it's like,
that part of it is true.
Chris, don't sit up here and try to act, like, come on, bro.
I just don't like the fact that people are calling Chris a bitch, because I feel like this is how he was going to respond. I think he did the most noble shit ever. I don't think Chris Rock is a bitch. If he would have pressed charges and look, he's sitting in court with the nigga because he slapped him, or he's looking for not restitution, but he's looking for payment or something like that. He did that shit the most stand-up way, if you ask me.
I don't think that was the most stand-up way.
I was glad he did that shit because honestly, Will Smith, you still won the Oscar. You still went on to do what? Look, almost another Oscar-winning performance with with
barred from
with
the
enslavement
academy,
joint
and he can't go back to the Oscars for 10 plus years
because of your decision to slap me. That had nothing to do with me.
All I'm saying
Nigga,
is
you can
talk
still
about
act.
there's no consequences.
You got Bad Boys 4 coming. You just finished a big ass press run for what was the joint called? Emancipation. Mm-hmm. He good. If I'm Chris Rock, I gotta now
But like I was good before the slap. You know? I was good before the slap. All of this shit was gonna happen whether I smacked your ass or not, Chris. Now you got a whole tour based off the slap. Think about it. I took time off and had to get back to shit that I was already gonna do. I was already gonna do Bad Boys 4. You think that they said, oh, we doing Bad Boys 4 because that slap, that's gonna get asses in seats. No. I was gonna do that shit already because of my last performance of my last movie. That's why. Chris, you're doing your entire press run. That joint called Selective Outrage. That joint is all about me.
It is
so
not.
Low-key,
it is
I'm
not.
giving you back what I put on your face. You using it. You getting out here. You got a Netflix joint. You toured. You talked about it. You calling me a bitch.
You damn right.
You talking about my son, my wife on your joint, and you doubling down, and you know I can't smack you again. But you already know what happened when you said that shit in my grill. Do your thing.
You snuck me.
I snuck
Don't make
you.
it
I walked
seem-
smack up to you and put it on your face.
Don't make it seem like you saw me in the parking lot.
Wow, dude.
Don't make it seem like you walked up to me in the parking lot.
He didn't
Or some
basically.
what's up type shit. You walked up here. I'm thinking this is a bit. We got on suits at the Oscars. See, that's what I don't like. People saying he smacked me. He knew he wasn't gonna get slapped back. That's not fair. Cause if these niggas would have started brawling at the Oscars, then y'all would have been talking about how you can't take black folks nowhere.
What also wasn't fair was the fact that he gonna get up there and say and talk about my wife, shit on my family, what I can't do nothing. Oh, why? Because he's at the Oscars. Well, he should have went up there and smacked them. Oh, but I was at the Oscars. Well, look, y'all would have did the same thing.
You're right, but we wouldn't be sitting here saying, yeah, you know what happened when he said about you.
And
we wouldn't do that.
And like he said, Drink Champs called him a bitch, right? Look at what Chris Rock said. This person called him a bitch. You called him a bitch. He called him a bitch, but then he smacks me. Well, look, do you not see the writing on the wall, Chris? Everybody called him a bitch, right? You say that, and if I sit right here and do nothing, you just said what everybody was saying about me, right? So look, can you imagine Chris Rock says that? What is my narrative now? Will Smith's a bitch. And
I agree. I agree with you.
You said that.
I agree with you.
Yeah, let me holler at you real quick.
I agree. I agree with you about the Will side.
Wow, dude.
I agree with you about the Will side. But with Chris side, you damn right I'm going to make jokes about this shit for the rest of my life.
Don't make it seem like he had no opportunity. This man, Will Smith, smacked him, went downstairs and said yes. Look, didn't even let you
get... They at the Oscars. They at the Oscars.
Right, but he didn't even let you finish your whole... Like, you couldn't even present. He said, keep my wife name out your mouth, and you was up there like...
They at the Oscars. It's like, nigga, you slapped me at the Oscars.
If
that was some bitch-ass shit. I'm sorry.
If I'm Chris Rock...
Slap me at the after party.
If I'm Chris Rock and you came up and smacked me and I was on stage, that'd be one thing. I say, I'm going to have to talk to this nigga because maybe he was playing. I don't know. Like, I just don't know what just happened. But since I'm at the Oscars, I'm going to just do this. But this nigga's down there talking about, yeah, keep my so-and-so name out your mouth. I don't know if I could have presented. I'm like, all right, hold on. All right, bet. All right. So do you want me to come down there right now? They would have had to go to commercial break. I can't not do anything. Have this nigga physically check me and verbally check me. He said that shit twice, and he said,
it's
the nominees.
It's nothing worse.
Nah, and I'm not going to go on and then call this nigga a bitch.
It's nothing worse than somebody saying, if it was me there, and he slapped me, what I would have did. You don't know you on the Oscars, the biggest stage in the world, the biggest movie night of the year.
You're right. I'm not going to say I would have smacked him back or anything, but I wouldn't be going on a tour talking about how I got smacked.
You're a comedian. Yes, you would. This is what I'll say, though. In terms of the selective outrage, the older comedian doing the jokes about how the new generation doesn't let you do anything and you'll get canceled if you do this and you can't say that. Let's leave. Chappelle has already ran that kind of into the ground in a sense. Successfully. Very funny he did. Mm-hmm. But that angle to me is tired. And I feel like that's the one gripe I had with the whole special. Is the selective outrage piece wasn't executed like I know, like normally Chris Rock executes.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, I don't think my guy's a bitch.
I don't think that Chris Rock is a bitch. I think the person that looks more like a bitch in the situation would be Chris Rock, though.
I don't know. And the people getting online saying Chris Rock was never funny.
That was ridiculous.
Come on.
That was ridiculous.
If you've never seen Bring the Pain or Kill the Messenger.
And that said something to me about the masses. Like, damn, when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock, we watched everybody just shitting on Will Smith. Chris Rock comes out with a stand-up. Now he was never funny. Y'all were on Will Smith's side this whole time?
That's what people do. That's how people are. It is insane how we flip on people.